What is up, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. Coming at you with, well, today's content is gonna be a bit different. I am straying slightly away from the perfume experience uploads just because I thought to do something different, and on the other hand, it came to my attention that, as per the title below, a comprehensive guide on how to smell good. Uh, it seems that not a lot of people out there know how to go about this, and I have certain experiences with that in terms of being on the receiving end of, let's put it kindly and say, not very pleasant scents coming off of people. And I got asked a question on how to smell good. Now, not to seem judgmental here, but for me it seems a bit intuitive and kind of common sense knowledge to know how to smell good, but apparently it isn't. So I've decided to go ahead and create this video upload slash YouTube. Oh man, I'm tired. Anyways, so here we go. I'm gonna go ahead with you guys in this upload on, how to go about smelling good, and the way I'm gonna go about it is via covering internal hygiene and external hygiene. Sit back, relax, make sure to grab your favorite bevy or snack before we get started. Today I have some coffee from Burundi. Oh man, I can't live without coffee. Okay. So, I got a screen right here by me because I need to look at the notes. If you see me turning my head this way, it's because I'm looking at my notes. Until I get this impromptu speaking thing down to an art, I will look at my notes. So, how to smell good, a comprehensive guide, okay? As we've stated earlier, there's two components to this. There's internal hygiene and external hygiene. So, in order to smell good as a result of internal hygiene, we are talking about addressing your insides, your physiology. And I will get into that shortly, what you can do to impact your scent and how to smell good. Then we have external hygiene, so that's everything on the outside, dealing with your skin mainly, and what you need to do to smell good, address that to smell good, okay? So first off, with internal hygiene. One of the things you can do to help enhance the way you smell and to smell good by addressing internal hygiene is flossing your teeth. Now, you think that this is common sense, and if you visit your dentist at least once a year, they will always check with you and ask you during your hygiene appointment if you floss your teeth. However, most people apparently don't, and if you don't already do that, I highly suggest you get on it, because what flossing does is it removes any remnants of food from your meals that are stuck between your teeth. But most importantly, even if you did not have any food remnants stuck in your teeth, it helps with clearing plaque buildup. Now, depending on your genetic makeup and depending on how much saliva you produce, your plaque buildup velocity could be high, medium, or low. Some people simply accumulate plaque faster than others, so flossing does help with that, specifically in very tight areas like between your teeth. Now, why would you want to floss to remove plaque? Plaque basically is a byproduct of, not byproduct, a waste product of bacteria in your mouth, right? And it basically ends up building in there and getting stuck to your teeth slash enamel. And whenever you have plaque, it stinks. It just makes your breath smell bad in turn. And if you've ever had a hygiene appointment with a dentist where they used a descaler, so they have this little hook tool and they scale your teeth, and it comes out most of the time, again, depending on your sort of inner environment in your mouth, most of the time will come out looking like white scrapings. However, if you ever had the misfortune of smelling them, they smell disgusting. They smell like death. And that stuff sits on your teeth. Okay? So, one of the best ways to improve your internal hygiene and in turn the way you smell is by flossing your teeth, mainly to remove plaque. This way you're taking away a bad odor. Next on, and complementary to flossing, is brushing your teeth. When you brush your teeth, and again, it is very common sense, I'd like to think, but apparently not, you are removing plaque as well as any other bacteria in your mouth that is resultant from, you consuming food or maybe smoking or drinking. You're cleaning your teeth, okay? Now, ideally, you would want to do that once or twice a day, but at a bare minimum once, okay? Because you just want to keep things fresh. And one way to tell that you've went too long without brushing your teeth is that sometimes when you don't brush, you get this sort of fur-like fuzzy feeling on your teeth, and that typically is associated with bad breath also. So that's how you know you've went too long without brushing your teeth. And that's, generally speaking, is going to happen within the span of 24 hours. So make sure to brush your teeth so you end up smelling better. Next is scraping your tongue, okay? Now that is something I will admit I haven't done early on in my life. It's a habit I picked, once I entered my mid to late 20s, I'm gonna say. And basically what it is you can get a tongue scraper where you extend your tongue out and scrap it with that scraper, or in some toothbrushes, they have a rough back and you use that to brush your tongue. Now the reason for that is that quite a bit of bacteria sits and grows on your tongue. So when you do brush your tongue or scrap it or scale it, whatever word you want to use, you end up improving, your internal hygiene, and in turn how your breath smells, okay? And in turn how you smell, all right? So that's food for thought there. It does make quite a bit of a difference. I was skeptical the first time I tried it. However, once I went on with it and integrated it into my routine, it does make a huge difference, you guys. So highly recommend that one. Next is swishing with some mouthwash. Now, mouthwash can be alcoholic variety or non-alcoholic. I don't use alcoholic varieties just because I have sensitive gums, and unfortunately it doesn't work very well for me. When I do use a mouthwash, I'll use a non-alcoholic. However, I've actually stopped using mouthwashes for quite some time, and instead I use hydrogen peroxide. Now, I will give some, what's the term I'm looking for? User beware with hydrogen peroxide. I use hydrogen peroxide as an antibacterial to disinfect my mouth, as well as it helps with whitening teeth. However, if you end up ingesting it, it is poisonous. So I would say if you've never used some sort of mouthwash or gargling solution, start off with off-of-the-counter mouthwash, be it alcoholic or non-alcoholic, and then graduate into hydrogen peroxide. I personally use hydrogen peroxide. It works best for me. It helps disinfect my mouth also while whitening my teeth. So 2-in-1 combo. And basically what it does is it kills some of the harmful bacteria in my mouth. So in turn, my breath smells better. Now, if you're gonna go the route of mouthwash, which is what I recommend for a beginner, mouthwash tend to contain quite a bit of substances in it that help with reducing plaque, cavities, can't remember if it's tartar or tar buildup. So basically what it does is it cleans your mouth, reduces any bacterial activity, and makes your breath smell good. So that's the idea here. So you have non-alcoholic mouthwash, alcoholic mouthwash, and then you have hydrogen peroxide. And again, I recommend that as a beginner, make sure to use off of the counter mouthwash if that's the route you want to go. Make sure to use your to do due diligence before you get involved with any of these mouthwashes, because some people have allergies and whatnot. So viewer discretion is advised when you decide to pursue mouthwash liquids to help with internal hygiene. Okay. Also, maybe a good idea to say I'm not a dentist, I'm not a professional. This isn't meant to be medical or dental advice. I'm just sharing some tips that from my experience worked for me, and maybe they'll work for you and help you out, okay? Can't believe I have to say that, but we live in such weird times, so. All right, so we're done with the mouthwash. Next is chewing xylitol gum, okay? Xylitol gum is a weird one. It is a very naturally sweet substance that comes from plants. They make gum out of it, and you can chew it just because if you enjoy chewing gum, or you can chew it to improve the smell of your oral scent. But apparently there's research, which I do not have right now with me, but if you do a quick Google, you'll see some of that info. There's research that's been done where xylitol can actually reverse cavities and help with mouth hygiene or oral hygiene, right? And help improve the balance of bacteria within your mouth. So you get better results really in terms of just the oral scent that is coming out of you, and in turn with the overall scent, okay, of yours. So xylitol is very interesting. I chew xylitol gum all the time. I've started chewing it while at the gym, and then basically by sheer coincidence I came across a couple of videos and then some research papers, which again I don't have them hand me on me, so if you do a quick Google search should confirm, I hope, what I'm saying. But xylitol does help with dental hygiene. It does help with balancing the good bacteria in your mouth. And overall, most of xylitol gums, they're just like regular gum. They come with different flavors, and my preferred xylitol gum flavor is peppermint, so that will help also with your internal hygiene and overall scent. One other thing that you can do for internal hygiene is basically visiting your dentist at least annually. As I mentioned earlier, when you go to the dentist for a dental hygiene, they'll go over a few things. One is they're gonna go ahead and descale your teeth from plaque. They will polish your teeth, they will floss them, they will check for cavities, okay? They will give you different gargles, being mouthwash or hydrogen peroxide. They might get x-rays. Now, all of these things ensure that you maintain good dental hygiene, which translates into good oral hygiene, which translates into good oral scent, which translates overall into you smelling good, okay? And last but not least for internal hygiene is, and that's something that I don't think a lot of people take into consideration, is be wary of what you consume in terms of food, okay? A lot of your, what you think is oral odor, okay, actually doesn't come from your mouth, it comes from your guts, okay? So you wanna integrate quite a bit of fiber, probiotics in your diet, and even veggies to help with your overall odor, because what happens is whatever you eat, it just migrates upwards, and it doesn't just affect the smell coming out of your mouth, but it also affects your overall scent from your skin to your hair. So everything really you consume has an effect on your both internal as well as external scent. So one of the ways to help improve your internal sense when it comes to your gut is basically consuming enough fiber. So you can do that through vegetables or fruits, but also consuming probiotics. So probiotics are basically good bacteria for your gut, and you can have it in different forms. You can have kimchi, you can have yogurt, you can have kefir milk, you can have any other fermented food. Basically, all of these help with your gut health, and in turn actually improves the scent or the odor that you project outwards as it rises, through your system. So a lot of the time when people complain about having bad oral hygiene or scent, it's not necessarily just the oral, but a lot of the time it has to do with actually what's going on in your gut. Before we move to external hygiene, I'm gonna grab myself a sip of this delectable coffee. Coffee breath is actually very nasty, and one of the things to be cognizant about, especially if you're on a date, especially if you go on a coffee date, it's probably not a good idea to kiss your date, okay? Because coffee breath is nasty. Unless you brush your teeth right after or chew gum, I don't recommend making out with your date. Okay. Next, we have external hygiene. All right. So for external hygiene, this one is obvious, but apparently some people just don't get it. Okay. Shower with soap. Okay. I cannot recount the number of times, in particular in the gym, where someone comes in and they smell like they haven't showered in weeks. Soap is cheap, okay? I'm not saying go and buy very expensive soap. You can buy soap for literally $1 or less, okay? So it isn't mind-blowingly expensive. So I don't understand the excuse for a lot of people as to not showering, okay? Now, personally, I use natural soap that's made out of some olive oil and berry oils and stuff like that. And I just use it because I find it's better for my skin health versus a lot of the typical grocery store soaps that have detergent in them. They tend to be very harsh for my skin. So I go with natural made soaps, typically made out of olive oil, and I use that basically. I don't use shampoo or conditioner. I mean, I don't really have the hair anymore. But what I do is that I soap my whole body, okay? You wanna obviously make sure that your privates and armpits are the key areas where you really sting from, that they're washed well. But you also wanna soap your whole body, right? Because you do actually shed skin, and when you do sweat, it just sits there on your skin. So when you do soap your whole body, you're making sure that you're taking care of everything, okay? So this will definitely help you smell good. And if you showered well or not by the amount of time you spend in the shower. Like, it's not just a matter of rubbing the soap quickly, sliding it on your skin. No, you want to actually rub it in, right? Kind of how you would wash your face. And yeah, just make sure to use good natural soap if you can afford that. And basically make sure to wash your whole body, all right? Again, I feel really silly having to say this, but apparently it is not common knowledge on how to shower with a bar of soap, or even that a soap is necessary, okay? At least where I live, which is not a really good thing when I think about it now. Okay, next we have is using deodorant, okay? Personally, I use natural deodorants, so none of this aluminum stuff. I don't use antiperspirant because it blocks my skin pores, and it just basically feels like I'm suffocating under my armpits. So I just use natural deodorant. If you choose not to use deodorant at all, A good alternative is isopropyl alcohol. So rubbing alcohol, you can actually buy that and get some cotton swabs, and then basically wet the cotton swab and just dab it under your armpit. And it doesn't work very effectively for very long. I'd say within an hour, you will be sweating, possibly, stinking, depending on the activity and how rough your activity is. But it does work, and it serves as an alternative to deodorant. A lot of the natural deodorants, I'm gonna also go and profess, I'm gonna go ahead and profess that they're not as good as the aluminum-based deodorants, but as an alternative where you're not poisoning your body, they just do exceptionally well. When you take the alternative of applying aluminum and basically you're poisoning yourself. Aluminum in deodorant does not allow you to sweat naturally and normally, which sucks, okay? It's not good for your overall health. So, but using natural deodorant or isopropyl alcohol, also known as rubbing alcohol, is fairly safe, okay? Third, for external hygiene, is wear clean, washed clothing, okay? Again, and I'm going off of my experience in the gym here, you'll see guys that will come out of the shower, they're showered, and they will put on clothing that they have worn for days or they've sweat in before, and you can tell because of how the clothing stinks. If you come out of a shower, even if you had a mediocre shower, you do not smell that bad, okay? So if you want to actually smell good, make sure that you wash your clothing regularly. Make sure that you put on fresh clothing. You can also make sure that the detergent you use is scented, or you can use some of those scent pebbles that you throw in with your laundry to help with the scent of your clothing, okay? Personally speaking, when I ever wear a t-shirt, I throw it out into my laundry basket after one wearing, okay? Doesn't matter if it was indoors or outdoors. I just, as soon as it touched my skin and I decide to take it off, I'm not re-wearing that t-shirt again, okay? It is going into my laundry basket, so it will get washed. I find that, at least with me, like if I have to re-wear, it's just, you end up sweating anyway. There's different perfumes wherever you've been, scents cling to the clothing. So it's re-wearing t-shirts is just nasty, at least for me. So I make sure to change and put on a fresh t-shirt every time. And trust me, if I could afford it, I would put on a brand new t-shirt out of the packing every time. But that's not sustainable, so we'll not be doing that. All right, and last but not least, for external hygiene, and as per the theme of this channel today, is applying perfume, okay? Invest in perfume. You don't have to grab something super expensive. You can literally buy perfume bottles for 20 bucks, okay? And depending on how, I guess, good of a quality it is or bad of a quality, you can go even lower. You can buy perfume on discounts, you can buy samplers, but have a scent, like spray yourself and smell good. That's another thing, and I think in particularly with guys, where a lot of guys don't like applying scents or perfume because they feel it is not a masculine thing to do, or it's not something a man should do. I'm not sure where that idea or thought process came from, but you can put on a masculine smelling scent and smell good. There's nothing wrong with smelling good and taking care of yourself and making sure that you're socially acceptable, but most importantly is that you are accepting of yourself, right? You value yourself enough to maintain your hygiene, and in the process of doing that, you make sure you smell good. So make sure to apply perfume after all of these things are taken care of, so you add the final cherry on the top of smelling good. Okay? Alright, you guys, so that's what I had for you today. It's basically how to smell good by taking care of your internal hygiene and external hygiene. I'm making this upload in particular for a person that asked me to do it, and I hope you know who you are, so I hope this helps you. And with that said, you guys, I'm gonna wrap it up here as per usual. Very much appreciate your time and attention, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.